Kill the music. Kill the music. It's time. It's time. Welcome everybody to today's Creators Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about graphic design resources for DTG and DTF printing. Before we get into it, you guys know the drill. Let's share some wins. Michael and Yvonne, you have your hand raised. She's got a win ready to go.
So we have an appointment tomorrow with a representative of the school system. And we have a technical school. Actually, we have 4 in our area. And one of the things they teach is graphic design and screen printing. And being that we are 24 jobs deep, she's coming to check us out so that she can place some of her students to work with us.
Awesome. That actually solves, I know you've been having a little bit of a staffing need, so that's awesome to hear. Excellent. Very good, very good, very good. Happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's see Mr. Rybeats himself. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, doing great. You got a win from this last week?
I got a call that my machine's coming this week.
All right.
So we'll see.
Excited.
That's the win for me, I guess.
Excellent, excellent. Machine on the way. Valerie, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for having your camera on. And same to the rest of you guys with your cameras on. Valerie, thank you so much. What's a win that you've had this last week?
This last week, went to the Pinners Conference in Atlanta. Learned some good stuff. Yeah, so I'm always excited to do that and to go and to learn from other people on things that I can improve on that I'm doing. So that was my big win.
Excellent, excellent. Learning is always a win. And Mr. Jeff.
It would have to be the 5,000 piece order I got for screen printing from motorcycle dealerships down south.
There it
and
is.
My DTF machine should be here hopefully next week.
Awesome. Okay, so we got 2 folks in here with machines on the way. The topic for today is graphic design resources. So what you use, what are your options, and this is not going to be all encompassing. It's not going to be a tutorial how-to. I find some frequent questions, especially from those who are just getting their machines and just starting out into the industry, maybe aren't aware of all the different ways you can have graphics done. Recently, we've talked about AI, but there's so many ways to get your graphics done. I know some of you guys offer graphic design as a service. I believe Michael and Yvonne, they do some graphic design as a service. So before we get in, no, you don't? Am I thinking of Ron? Maybe it's Ron that does that. Anyone here in the chat that does graphic design as a service? Okay, Jeff and Dennis here, you guys offer that. So what do you use before we get too into it?
I either do it myself in either Photoshop or Illustrator, and I also have an actual hand illustrator who I work with. He's a friend of mine, and he also is my third-party vendor for all my offset, my digital printing, and so forth. So when I have concept art, either from my own clothing lines or for customers, I just have a little powwow with him. He does the pencil drawings, we approve the sketches, and then he black lines them really nicely with solid black ink, and then he scans them. And then if I need to, I either just do them as rasterized images in Photoshop, or I have them vectorized so that I can colorize them. So kind of whatever the customer needs, I can meet their, and it's crazy what some people pay for graphic design. It's incredible.
Yes.
but being the screen printer and everything else that I do, it behooves me to be affordable for my graphic design, so it guarantees me the job.
Awesome. Yeah. So the stuff that you listed here kind of covers into all of the different categories that we're going to talk about. Maybe except for one. So the first one being, design it yourself software. So Photoshop, Illustrator, the Adobe suite. There's other programs like Corel Draw, and there's even some free ones that you can use out of the browser that have limited functionality, but still pretty good for getting started out. One of my favorites is Pixlr, Pixlr. That one's just a little less functionality than Photoshop Lite. So it does all the stuff that you usually need it to do for basic graphic stuff. You're not making anything crazy on the free ones, and really when you need that power and that manipulation for the designs, the paid software is better. But the nice thing about the paid ones as well is online there's buckets of resources for how to do anything you can think of in that software. That's why I didn't really feel the need to maybe do a deep dive into any particular software. Not only is there just a crap load of these programs, but also, let's say Photoshop, for example. That's one I'm pretty familiar with. Everything that I learned was through YouTube. You can YouTube University, as the kids call it. You can YouTube University yourself to be master in any number of these programs. It's just a matter of knowing what search terms to use to achieve the different results that you're looking for. So the software programs are really great for creating and manipulating designs, wide range of tools and features to help bring your visions to life. So that's really what those are for. The next segment, if you would please, Mr. Mauricio, thank you. Outsourcing. So Jeff, you mentioned you have a buddy who is an illustrator and he is quite savvy with doing this. So that takes us into outsourcing. If you're not confident in your own design abilities, or if you simply don't have the time to create your own designs, you can always outsource your artwork to a professional like Jeff is doing. There's a few different places you can go if you don't know somebody. So you have other websites like Fiverr. There's one called Upwork. 99 Designs is one that my dad used back in the day to get the logo for his web design business made. And these websites allow you to connect with designers who can create those custom designs, and not only for DTG, DTF needs, but really for, pretty broad usage. And then the same thing, not even just for DTG, DTF, the same thing will also transition over to things like embroidery. If you don't have that software to make those embroidery files yourself, you can sub it out. And anytime that Edgar is on here, he makes it very clear that his preference is just to sub it out to a designer who can make those graphics for him, because he finds that it's not really worth his time. If you have the time, it'll save you a little bit of money, but that's the trade-off, right? Michael and Yvonne particularly, since she's the one that's here on camera and Michael's off doing who knows what. Yvonne, you want to tell us about your process for embroidery designs?
Well, we use Hatch, and
Simple ones we do, more complex we send out.
yeah, the simple ones Michael does for me. And then the more complex, we send them out. And we tell people up front that it's going to cost them between $10 and $25, depending on how big it is, how small it is. It all depends. I have a job ready to do, so I'll have both of my embroidery machines going because I have to make 24 hats.
There you go. And how long do you expect those 24 hats to take roughly?
They'll probably, because I have other jobs that I have to do as well, it'll probably take me a couple weeks.
What?
Couple weeks.
Do 24 hats?
Yeah.
2 days.
Oh, Michael said 2 days.
2 days. If you're just doing
I'm
it all
giving
at once.
myself,
If that's all you're working on.
that's it.
Okay,
But,
okay.
I was very fortunate though. My brother-in-law was here this weekend helping us, and he wanted to have a gift made for his wife,
Mhm.
and he didn't know where to go. And I said, I know a guy. So I called up Ron and told him what my brother-in-law wanted. He signed it, made it, and it's on its way.
Excellent, excellent. I wish Ron was on here so he could show us a little preview of what he made.
I can show you.
Oh, there we go. Sweet.
Yeah, it's a license plate for the front of their mobile home, motor home, sorry. Cause I called you and he called me. Okay,
Let's see.
I don't know if you can,
Let me get close to my screen. Does that say Onward Buttercup?
yes,
That's cool. And so that's a
So-
license plate?
yeah, he sublimated it onto a license plate for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, he wants to give it to her for Mother's Day.
Awesome. And don't think I'm going to let you off the hook, everybody. It's a little bit past Yvonne's birthday, so I wanted to say happy birthday. Yay. And I
Yeah,
expect you to tell me-
this is the year we go backwards.
Yeah. 21 again?
Thank you.
21st
Yeah.
birthday part 2.
29.
We're 29 and holding.
There you go.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, and I expect the rest of you guys to let us know when it's your birthday too. And Yvonne, you'll have to text me when it's coming up on Michael's birthday. Okay, let's see. JM. Can you scroll up just a smidge, Mauricio? John is saying, I've been using Photoshop for over 25 years and actually beta tested it for Adobe before it was named Photoshop, after they purchased the software from the Knowles brothers in the late 80s. Wow, okay, so John is an absolute guru from the sounds of it, and I really wish he would turn on his camera and tell us a little bit about his experience. That would be really cool. I'd love to hear some of your insights into that software. That's super relevant for what we're doing today. Let's see. And Valerie says she also sublimates license plates. Awesome. I had no idea that sublimated license plates was a thing. Is that like always for the front plate, or? Yeah, because I feel like the police might not like it if it was the back plate. They wouldn't be too thrilled by that. Okay, yeah, so outsourcing of the design work, really important resource to have in your back pocket. Who else? I mean, obviously, surely most of you guys have some way to outsource your design work if need be, right? Valerie, I'm going to pick on you since I haven't heard too much from you yet. What do you use for your graphics if they need any tweaks or edits, or if you need to create something from scratch?
Well, you didn't see my comment, did you?
I did not.
Struggling with Adobe.
Let me
I can
see.
do Canva pretty good,
Canva,
but,
yeah, that's a good one.
but you know, for the most part, it's much easier.
Mhm.
But I actually have a design now that Adobe couldn't even help me with, because the person is a situation where someone created the file for a business and then they parted company, but the guy did not understand that that person that created it is their work. And so therefore, he sent me a picture of it, and it's been a struggle. I still don't have it. I was on it again today because it's like they tweaked the font that it's not the exact. And I looked at it today in Illustrator, and there's like tons of paths in it. But yeah, so I've been pulling my hair out with that one.
Maybe you and John can connect, and maybe he has some tips and tricks for what you're looking for, since he's a beta tester for Photoshop back in the 80s.
I sent him a message.
Oh,
I don't know if he's seen it yet.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. And Laura, since you're on here, you're so gracious to have your camera on as well. What do you use for graphic design work?
Me? Did you say Laura?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm a graphic designer, but I never done any t-shirts or anything like that. So I use Photoshop, Illustrator, and those are. So if you need help, if you don't hear from John, Valerie, maybe I can help a little bit. I mean, I don't do anything with I haven't got into the t-shirt yet. I'm kind of thinking maybe that's when I want to go on that route. But if you have any questions with Photoshop, reach out.
Oh, I will. Thank you. So it's
Love
just,
that.
I need to get the design together so that I can print it.
There it is.
Thank you. I will definitely take you up on that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put my email there if you want to email me. I'll help you.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Awesome. That's what I love to see. Everybody's working together. That's good. So we've talked about, making your own designs and outsourcing, but there's another option, which is art catalogs. So art that's already done, download it, slap your own text on there, ready to go. So that's another great resource. And what people do is they'll make the art and they'll just sell the whole catalog. An example is one that we're partnered with and we sell subscription for through our store is Great Dane Graphics. That's what we use for our samples. I know not everybody's a huge fan of that art style, but there's a variety of, different catalog types that, can achieve those base graphics if you're just looking to make something semi-generic. When it's just really the text that's important and you need just a little decorated background for it, you can use something like that if need be. So it'll just be collections of designs available for purchase. Sometimes it'll be per download. Sometimes it'll be just full catalog. You get unlimited access. So it'll depend on the particular package. You also have other ones like Creative Studio, T-shirt Design Club. So wide range of options that you have there. And you can pretty easily transition that for DTG, DTF use. Yvonne, you have your hand raised. Oh, it arrived. Crazy timing. That's awesome.
The mailman just pulled up and yeah, it's awesome.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, that looks just like the picture you sent.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
amazing too in person.
Awesome. Hey, that's crazy. That's really cool timing. Has anybody used these art catalogs before? Jeff's shaking his head yes. Rye's shaking his head no. Jeff, tell us about what you're using and what situations you're using it for. Because it seems I seem to get some pretty strong reactions out of Valerie and Rye.
I haven't used Great Dane graphics, but I also do plotter cut vinyl graphics. And with the machine, I got a CD-ROM that has thousands of vectored. A lot of them are gnarly. They're like skulls and flames, and so sometimes I'll go to that. But I like to do custom illustration, custom logos, and I just wanted to add that I find Illustrator, it just sucks the juice right out of your brain because you have to focus so intensely on each little pinpoint. You actually, the pointer has to actually click on, you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
Photoshop, you just work with the entire layer. So what I really like to do is, if I get an EPS, typically from Illustrator, I will always open them in Photoshop. And the nice thing is with an EPS, you can stipulate the size and the DPI, whatever you want it to be. So you don't have to worry about it getting pixelated. I mean, obviously it's easier to work with Illustrator because it's resolution independent. Obviously with Photoshop, you have to pay close attention to your DPI. But as long as you do, there's really nothing you can't separate in Photoshop, even if it's an Illustrator design, especially with halftones. I mean, gosh, I've been working with Illustrator since 1994. And a lot of times if you have spot colors blended with process colors and you don't really know that, and you do your separations to film, you'll end up with blocks of halftones, like square chunks of your just missing. And then you got wasted money in film and so forth. So yeah, Photoshop does a much better job with processing halftones. So whatever that's worth, you can avoid a lot of headaches by using Photoshop. It's just much less frustrating. I love Illustrator. I love that I can cut out of Illustrator and paste directly into Photoshop, and all the different options for transparent backgrounds. The handshake protocol between the two softwares is second to none. As far as I'm concerned, they're the best. I wouldn't even consider messing with any other programs, but I'm biased,
Yeah, that's good. No, that means it's doing its job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Valerie, you've had some pretty strong reaction to this whole segment here. Tell us your thoughts.
It's too cumbersome with me, and that's not my strong suit. I certainly want to improve on that. I want to get to the point where someone can tell me what they want and I can put it together. But and I've been using, Adobe. That's the one I tried with first for a number of years now, but I just can't get it mastered, and so even on the latest design, I even reached out to Adobe themselves.
Oh, okay.
And it's just not working. I can see what the issue is, but I can't get to it to fix the issue. And so the original file, I heard Jeff saying about EPS.
Yeah.
And that's what I had the file in. But the issue that I'm having is it's more like a ping file and so I can't get into it to change the colors to the color. He sent me the original black and white, and it has an offset on it. And so I just can't get it to line up. But I'll send it to you and Laura.
Yeah, I'll give you my email address too if you want.
Yes.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Thank you. I'll send it to both of you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And if you guys can all figure that out together, that'll be your collective win for next week.
Yeah.
And then Caesar says, we've been using Photoshop for some years, but I must tell you that there are a lot of options to do design, especially in logos. For example, I show you a pattern in CorelDRAW. It is sent in BPM format, and it is converted into EPS. And in another software, they apply layers to achieve 3D logos, and finally Photoshop to make the final art. And then he's got a link. Okay, I see what he's saying. So, so the flat text is the baseline, and then used a couple of different platforms to get it to the spot on the left. That's pretty impressive. That looks really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. We have a hand raised by Myers Thielman. I hope I said that right. T-E-I-L.
There you go.
All right, there he is.
There
Got
we
a
go.
couple free jets in the background. That's what I like to see.
They're working. We're working in here.
Excellent.
Hello, everybody. My name's Robert, Filter Factory. Louis, he's Myers and Tillman, so he does DTG. I do the technology. I want to kind of throw a little bit of insight of what's coming for the future of apparel and what we're doing. So where I come into play is I actually make social media filters. I make them for Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. What I've done is I've actually used that to integrate into the apparel to create a new level of apparel. And we're going to show you so you have a better understanding.
Oh,
It's one of the things where I'm pretty much one of the few that are doing this. I've been on this for 2 years and I got to pay it forward. There's an artist named Nipsey Hussle that was murdered that was doing this 3 years ago. So had he not passed away, he would have been totally. So let me show you real quick.
Okay, yeah, show us
Oh,
exactly
let's
what
pull
you're
up the
talking about.
shirt.
I'm thoroughly confused.
Yeah, totally. So there. Oh, okay. So here's the shirt. Okay. So here's a little shirt, nothing major. And then what I have is I have a phone and I pulled up Snapchat. So you need Snapchat for this one.
Okay.
Once you pull it up and you put it over the shirt. Oh, let me pull back. It actually plays a video.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's augmented reality integrated apparel. So, yeah. But like I said, you need, once you have the product, once you have the shirt, it actually does that. So for you guys, it'd be something to kind of look into. It's free software from Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. These guys pull up tutorials and, add a new level to what's coming for apparel. So I just want to give you a little insight. That's it.
Can you show us a closer look at the graphic?
I think it's a little flyer, the flyer for an event.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I make AR integration for merchandise,
Wow.
and stuff like that. But that's what we're kind of starting to do for the apparel. So we're out here in Fresno, California, and it's also 3D models. But I thought that would be the easiest kind of way to show you guys right here because it's kind of hard to, show the 3D.
Cool.
And I just want to give you guys that insight. You know what I'm saying?
Color me thoroughly impressed. So that's software that's
It's available
you
for
can get
free.
that-
So Meta is Spark AR, which is a free download. You already have an account, most of you, for Facebook and Instagram, and it's the same company. And they have guides, they have tutorials within the software. And then for Snapchat, it's Lens Studio, which is another free software. And then TikTok, it's Effect House, which is another free software. It's just like with everything in tech, go on YouTube, pull up some tutorials, and
wow,
add a new layer to it. So kind of throwing it out there, a little future advice.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anything else that anybody has to add? That's a tough one to follow. That's a tough one to follow.
It is a tough one to follow.
So any other insights regarding maybe more base level graphic design type tips for people who are just starting out? Let's say you guys are going to be included in our next YouTube video. What's something that you would tell someone who's just starting out in DTG to help them get started with the graphic design aspect of it?
Don't be afraid to learn the software. Don't be intimidated. There are no problems. There's only solutions. You just got to do it. If you're intimidated by it, it's tough. But if you have confidence, and the University of YouTube is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that are very complicated in Photoshop. I do a lot of screen printing. That's what I've done for 20 years. And indexed spot process or indexing is complicated. It doesn't use halftones. It uses like a dither. So I'm still amazed after all these years, just how many layers there are to screen printing too. I know you guys are a digital platform, and I've subbed my DTG for years, so I'm super excited to get this DTF thing. And once my new website launches, I'll share it with you guys. And it's a unique project too, so I'm super excited about that. And I have to have this machine to make that happen. So yeah, it's exciting things coming. Yeah. But yeah, Illustrator and Photoshop are the standard, no question. CorelDRAW has come a long way, but don't waste your time. There's nothing you can't do in Illustrator and Photoshop. Nothing.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. That was perfect. I think thinking back to new hire Brian way back in the day, just starting out, had no idea about the graphics end of this. I had just been barely trained on the machine. That would definitely help me out in those first steps of learning Photoshop. I never got to anything that needed Illustrator or Corel or anything like that. Photoshop is really where I landed and ended up using the most. But yeah, so I thought today we'd keep it a little bit short. The whole point was for those of you in the group who maybe are only doing one or two of these options, hopefully this session was valuable to maybe expand your offerings, expand your options for when it comes to graphics and graphic design in general. So there you have it. Show of hands, was this valuable? Should we do more stuff kind of in this vein, not necessarily related to the machine itself, because I feel like we've kind of talked that process to death. We're gonna need to retouch on it as more new folks come into the fold. But was this subcategory of, hi Tracy, was this subcategory of information valuable? Hopefully yes.
Yes, it was for me
Good. Okay.
to
All
reach
right.
out.
If there's at least one, then
I just wanted to say I sent Valerie my email there. It's the GB one. So you're welcome to email me that artwork and I'll see what I can do for you.
Thank you. I emailed it
Oh,
to
okay.
you and to Laura.
Oh,
I
cool,
already
cool.
did so.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so
I'll be in
much.
touch. Yeah. Probably in
Yes.
the morning. Though I actually got another meeting after this. So
Okay, okay,
yeah. Cool.
okay. Thank you
Love
all.
it.
You're welcome. Yeah.
so so I think we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna keep it a little bit brief today. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it there. So there you have it. Some of the best graphic design resources for DTG, DTF printing, whether you prefer to create your own designs or outsource them to a professional, or if you like to purchase the pre-made designs from art catalogs or other artists directly. Plenty of options available to you. So thank you everybody for tuning into this video. We'll see you next time. Bye Creators Live people. Love you. See you next week.
Goodbye.